Hello
We are
and
like,
welcome everyone. It's one of the biggest moments for us at the Indie Football Podcast, which is being running for a little over a year now, and we have Semra Hunter with us. We often follow it up with a bit of a description about who our guest for the week is, what they do. But for Semra Hunter, I feel most of our listeners would know what she is, especially considering her recent work at the FIFA World Cup. So thank you, Semra, for being here. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
And Anukarsh sir, I think when we started off around 14 months ago, and someone told at that time would have told us that we are going to have Semra Hunter in the next 14 months in this time period, I think we
yeah,
probably laughed it off, right?
yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, we have had 1 week just to contain the excitement that we are actually having Semra Hunter on the show. And to not act like
Thank you.
absolute fanboys. And honestly, Semra, like for someone who was such a pivotal figure on Geo Cinema during the World Cup, and like you have had a really interesting tale if you look at it. Like for someone who did a course in peace and conflict studies, grew up in Los Angeles, and I mean, especially started her journey with Al Jazeera TV. And I'm a Liverpool fan. So I would like to mention that you worked with Real Madrid TV also because since there's a Champions League match on the horizon. So I mean, and to have actually interviewed players like Xavi, Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, Tony Cruz, Gareth Bale, players you watch on TV and hope to actually meet someday. How does it feel being in this industry, and what do you love about it the most?
Ooh, it's a very tough question to start with. Huh? Let's see. I mean, I feel very privileged. I've worked exceptionally hard to get to this point, but it definitely feels like a dream come true. And sometimes I wake up and I have to pinch myself and say, is this really happening? Is this real life? Because it's something that you think about for such a long time. And then when you actually get there and achieve it and you know that you're capable of doing it, that is a huge thing and a huge feeling of satisfaction and a pride to know that you can, in fact, realize the things that you set out to do. And so that feels great on the one hand. But obviously, I am someone who is very ambitious in the sense that I'm competitive with myself. I like to go as far as I possibly can. I like to push myself as far as I can and face new challenges that will help me to grow as a person and as a professional. So whenever I achieve something, I'm already looking for the next thing. And then I'm always looking for the next thing after that. So it's an ongoing process. And again, like I said before, I feel very, very privileged to actually be able to dedicate my time and really my life to what I do. So.
Also, we had done a lot of research on your social media, and considering what Anukarsh sir just shared about you, someone who's born somewhere and then she's gone on to work in different places all through sports. So how does this entire experience of exploring new geographical locations and then coming back to football, which so many people share as a unifying force, I'm sure the experience has not only taught you a lot, but also makes you probably feel that, oh, what a beautiful thing to do, whatever I'm doing right.
Yeah, it is. And I am someone who really loves to travel. I really like to try things that are different, that are a little bit outside of my comfort zone. Weirdly enough, that's why I actually feel comfortable, is doing things that are kind of beyond the scope of, or the realm of what's considered to be kind of normal. I was very lucky in that I grew up with a very mixed background family. I have family in Turkey, so every year when we was growing up, we would always travel there to see family. My parents would take advantage of that to show me the world, and we would make stopovers in Europe or whatever. And so I was exposed to the world at a very young age. And so I always knew that I wanted to do something that would allow me to continue to explore and to discover new things all the time. So, I've lived in Turkey, I've lived in Spain, I've worked in India, I've worked in the UK. Obviously, I grew up in the US. I've worked in Australia, sort of. And so I've had this great opportunity to really kind of just go everywhere and try new things. You can always find new things to do, discover new things to do, and you don't really have to sell yourself short, because there's always something new to be learned, to be discovered anywhere that you go. And football has really afforded me that possibility. So.
Since you have been in so many countries, you have been worked with so many organizations. Which one experience has been your standout experience of them all? And I'm not asking you to say Geo Cinema because it's we are we are mainly Indians.
Yeah.
But which has been your favorite one and why? And that one interesting moment where you felt that this is the thing, this is what I wanted to do, and this is something which I woke up for in the morning.
Oh, the World Cup. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, there's nothing that really comes close to that, because if footballers dream about playing in the World Cup and lifting the trophy, well, as football broadcast journalists, that's what we dream about doing, is covering the World Cup. You know, that for us, at least for me anyway, is the biggest thing that you can do, and it's the biggest honor to be able to cover the World Cup and to provide coverage of the tournament in what is probably, I mean, I'm biased, but I say it's the best competition in the world when it comes to sports. And so for me, I always, at the top of my bucket list, it was the World Cup without question. So the fact that I was finally able to do that was like surreal, but really, really grateful at the same time that GeoCinema, MyCom, everybody involved, they afforded me that opportunity to come and to do that in India. And obviously it was a great experience on a personal level, because I got to meet a whole lot of new people that were just wonderful, and the reception was fantastic. The hospitality in India was fantastic. People were so kind, they were so generous. I had a wonderful time there. And hopefully I would like to think that I've made friends for life that I can always talk to going forward, and we can always remember the memories that we've created together. So for me, it was a fabulous experience all around, both on the working side of things and also on the personal side of things.
Nice.
Yeah,
I mean, it's it's like sorry to interrupt you, man, but honestly, like, it's kind of funny that I feel weirdly patriotic listening to Semra.
That's what I was gonna say as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but I
carry
can
on, carry on.
understand that. I can understand that. You know, I can perfectly understand that.
Do you get nerves or something, running in your stomach when there's I'm covering a football match that probably half the world's watching, and I've got Wayne Rooney, and also we'd like to dig deeper. We'd like for you to dig deeper into your experiences of working with Wayne Rooney. You also had Shah Rukh Khan coming over to the studio. So working in broadcasting is something I feel is where there's a lot, you meet so many different people professionally. There's a limited amount of time that you get with